Stories of Hope and Home has existed for less than a year, so it's still a nascent project in lots of ways. It's very young, but I think we've done quite a lot with it since this time last year. I looked towards lockdown worried about how this might be sustained. The whole point of the project is to bring refugees and asylum seekers together, to give them safe space to meet and share stories. A lot of it is about true life story sharing, but using creative writing and poetry and story techniques to do that. But actually a lot of it was about drinking tea together and eating biscuits. We met here, Cars Lane, every week. And yeah, we wrote things and we told stories, but we also drank a lot of tea. So I did wonder, how would we cope? How would we survive? I suppose lots of us walked towards lockdown thinking, how are we going to sustain our communities? And then someone said this word Zoom that none of us had heard before, but now we all use as a noun and an adjective and an adverb and a verb. And I thought we'd give it a go. So there were a few early technical hitches and challenges. And there was also a challenge around, I live in a building with Wi-Fi. I never have to worry about connection and connectivity. So I very early on got onto one of our funders who normally funds travel costs. Obviously no one was going anywhere, and asked them if they'd be willing to help fund data.
Oh, that's very good. And did you have to provide computers and things as well?
Most of them have smartphones. Smartphones are really important to refugees and asylum seekers. It comes up sometimes when you talk about what's a necessity and what's an essential. And if you're living on this £5 a day, is a smartphone essential? But actually, if you've got to be in contact and contactable by the Home Office and your lawyers, but also if your family are in a war zone halfway around the world, I think a smartphone probably is an essential. So most of them have a smartphone, but for example, I run the Stories of Hope and Home group, but I also do a couple of things with, so I run a group for kids who are currently out of school, refugee children, and a mums and tots group. And for example, I have a family I'm working with 5 kids, and they're on one smartphone.
Right.
So yes, they can use it. Yes, they can access Zoom, but that's 5 kids who are being set homework by school, a lot of which is online, and their 2 parents who are operating with one smartphone. So it's been a real insight into digital poverty.
Yeah.
How the impact of that will have been for people. I feel like I'm dwelling on the negatives. There's so much that's positive about these projects.
Well, I was going to say, how has it impacted people? What's been their response?
It's been wonderful. I mean, they've been really positive. The people who've stayed involved and stayed connected talk about the fact that it's been reassuring, I guess, to know that there's a community, and that's about relating to me, but it's about relating to each other. It's about this sense of community and family that I think they're all trying to find ways of staying connected. I gave up on the term social distancing really early on because I thought it was really unhelpful, because I don't think that's what any of us needed through this time. I think when you're living through uncertainty, yeah, physical distancing, I get that. But actually, we were all looking for ways to be socially connected. So we've done stuff like we've had birthday parties where you blow the candles out through Zoom. You can do that, right? And we've written poetry together, and we've shared stories about looking out of windows, because by goodness, we're all doing a lot of looking out of windows. And we've shared stories of the windows we're looking out of now, and our memories of looking out of childhood windows that were potentially very, very different kinds of windows. And all of that builds us knowing each other really well. And it's not the same. It's not the same as sitting down and drinking cups of tea together. And we are looking forward to doing that again. But I still feel that those people are getting closer and closer through the contact they have with each other, through their willingness to kind of share. And I'm so grateful for all its flaws, that this is happening at a time where we do have technology, we do have that possibility.
It sounds a really good work, Steph, and I'm delighted to hear about it.